Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.
This episode is brought to you by Adobe Firefly, the all-in-one creative studio with AI-powered image and video generation. Built for today's creative process, Firefly helps you generate, edit, and experiment fast. Because the asks aren't getting smaller, and the timelines? Woo, yeah, still tight. With all the best creative AI models in one place, Firefly brings your ideas to life. Learn more at adobe.com/firefly.
Alright, welcome back to the Survival and Basic Badass Podcast, Kevin and Chuck. Today, we're going to talk about off-grid travel. And off-grid travel, basically, what I'm thinking is, well, there's a couple scenarios why you might travel after, say, an EMP or economic collapse, and there's just mass chaos out there. Maybe even there was a giant earthquake and you got to travel and there's kind of hordes of people out there that, don't know what they're doing or where they're going and they're desperate. That's basically what we're working with is people are desperate and you're trying to avoid the headaches that might come with that. So one of the things might be is you're away from home and all of a sudden bad things happen and you have to get home. Mm-hmm. That's a reason you might have to travel in the apocalypse. Another one could be your babies are away at summer camp or college, or your kid lives in the next town and you feel, no, oh, my kid's an idiot and I have to go save them.
Yes, Baby Einstein.
There's no way they
college,
could go,
right?
Help themselves.
Uh-huh.
Only if I step up will they live. Maybe you need to go on a mission to get medical supplies. Mm-hmm. Or, maybe you need to get to your bug out retreat, your cabin in the woods, which has all your extra stockpile. And you decided, let's wait and see if things calm down.
Right.
Because maybe if we wait 3 days and everything really turns to shit, then it would be better to travel. That's what they always do in the prepper books.
Right.
They're always like, oh, what do we do, honey? Let's just wait 2 days and just see what happens. Mm-hmm. And then everything turns to hell, and they're like, oh, now we got a problem. That always happens. Mm-hmm. I don't really understand that, but that seems to play out quite a bit. Yeah. So we are going to talk about some EMP alternatives, you might have, but we're not exclusive to EMP. We're just ways to travel without having chaos. Now, I do think things are very different on traveling the day something bad happens or even into the next morning. Like something bad happens, you go to bed, you wake up early and go travel. You're dealing with one set of conditions versus a week to 3 months into bad conditions. Right. And I think even a week in is different than 3 months in.
Yeah,
traveling.
Well, I think there's going to be a big difference between 3 days after and 3 months after.
Okay.
With
what kind of resistance you might get in your travel. Mm-hmm. Maybe none, maybe some. Let's talk about it. Mm-hmm. So let's start out, I think, with some of the different types of vehicles or ways you would travel. What do you got?
Well, I think there's a you have to remember that the second most efficient form of travel, energy to distance, is walking.
I like walking.
Now, the most efficient is riding a bike. I didn't know that.
It is very efficient.
That's basically calories per distance. Obviously, if you have gasoline, you don't have to burn any calories.
No.
But that's one of the things we're kind of talking about here is gasoline is a big deal.
Yes.
A lot of the things that we're going to talk about, if you don't have access to fuel, you're going to be out of luck.
You're walking.
You're riding your bicycle.
Well, one of the books that I did, I think it was Once Upon an Apocalypse. Now, I'm pretty sure, I don't know, I do so many audiobooks, I never know what's happening. But guy's far away from home, bad things happen, and always carries some extra cash when he's going far away. He's on the highway, and he sees a bicycle shop, goes over, buys a bike, and actually I think he ends up buying like a trailer to pull with it and different stuff, and does that right away. And it's like, that's how I'm going to make that 400 miles getting home. Now, this guy also is one of the big push on night vision and traveling at night. Had a lot of insight that we're going to get into later. But bicycles are huge. Definitely cover serious ground in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
They're quiet. People don't hear you coming when you're on a bicycle. The right bicycle, you can go off-road. Again, you trade speed for access or, area you can cover with off-road. But that may be the clear alternative. It probably, in my book, when it comes to traveling on a bike, again, day one, something bad happens, EMP, on the bike, on the road, probably just cover as much ground and as far as you can get. Morning after up till about noontime, covering ground on a bike, you're going to see the conditions. You're going to see the people you're passing and the kind of state of mind that people are in, and be able to kind of judge, shit's getting bad. I need to get the fuck off the main road.
Yeah.
Or, things are quiet, because people have that normalcy bias, where they kind of just, the government FEMA will come along. We'll just sit here and wait.
They'll be here soon. Now, there's some drawbacks to the bike, though.
All right, tell me.
Bike is really hard to ride with a 60-pound pack on.
It's hard to have an AR-15 on your back with a bike.
You're not carrying a whole lot unless you get, like he was talking about, a trailer. And those are, when it comes to off-road, then you're in trouble.
You're trading a huge amount of function and quick response when you add a trailer.
Mobility, agility, whatever it is.
Exactly. However, that said, being able to carry your supplies is kind of worth something too. But again, now that's another thing we need to loop back around to at the end of the episode is, if you're carrying a lot of supplies, are you just making yourself a huge target?
Right. Is
it better to just go with less and be like, fuck it, because if I have it, I'm just going to get the crap beat out of me?
Right. You might have an AR-15 in your back, but the guy you're passing might have a walking stick that he jams in your spokes.
That's awkward.
And then you're in trouble.
Yeah. Now, if you're planning out your bike, I know they have a lot of aftermarket things you can work on to your bike. Sell like a gas motor you can put on, attached to your regular bike for like $88.
Yeah,
I saw those on like bicycle motor kit. You'd search that on like eBay or probably Amazon. There's also some little electric ones. Now, I've seen ones that actually charge up while you pedal, but I couldn't find. I've seen people had it,
right?
But I haven't been able to find it. Maybe one of you guys know or whatever. You could put it up on the Facebook group, something like that. But anyway, something like that could really assist you, make it easier. But again, if you're fighting for gas or whatever, it's not really going to help you. But I'm sure low gas mileage. Now, I think that brings us into dirt bikes, four-wheelers, that kind of thing, mopeds, whatever you got. Now, most of those are going to end up being like EMP proof. Obviously your electric start, stuff like that, you might have trouble, and some of that may even still work. It really depends on how it's configured.
Yeah, and I'm not completely convinced that an EMP will knock out cars.
Right. Yeah. No, we've seen a lot that it won't. But it doesn't really matter if you don't have gas and stuff happening.
Right. You can go a lot farther on a dirt bike with a gallon of gas than you can with a car.
A lot farther. So that's kind of huge, something to consider, or even your regular, motorcycles.
Mm-hmm.
But I think off-road are going to be a huge plus versus on-road.
Mm-hmm.
I think road travel, once you get past a day and a half, is going to be dangerous. And we're going to, like I said, get into there. Let's keep going on vehicles. What else are you thinking?
All right. Well, when it comes to snow, you've got snowmobiles, obviously.
Snowmobiles are fun.
Also, cross-country skiing, snowshoeing options.
Cross-country skiing will actually pick up your time a lot versus walking.
Right.
Especially
and
through
snowshoeing
snow.
will be a lot better than walking through the snow without shoes.
Yes.
Depending on the type. And it's something you want to have a little bit of experience with because it's not, it's not super simple. You could also get a dog sled, but I don't think I could tie my dogs up to shit. They just stare at me.
You got to crack the whip.
You gotta kick them.
You got to break out the whip. I like dog sled. That's not horrible.
Mm-hmm. But four-wheelers are definitely, I think, the king when it comes to traveling through the kind of through the woods.
And that's something you really want to kind of plan before things go bad.
Right.
Having the mountain bike for every member in your family in the shed, or actually one of my kids lives probably 70 miles away, and I threw a mountain bike in his shed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, here, you're on your own, but here's a bike.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's, you could do that in 3 days,
Right.
And
70 miles,
the
you could probably cover
first 3
that.
days of bad,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you could cover it in 2 days, realistically.
Right.
If you're following roads and whatever. First 2 days of bad, you could probably travel on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you don't have anything people want side of your bike.
Right.
Hey, let me ride on the back. I could ride on the handlebars.
That's right. Which is a guaranteed recipe for scraped knees. That never works out.
Never works out. All
All
right,
right.
what else?
What about planes?
One, EMP, a lot of, people have the antique planes and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That, again, plays out in one of the audiobooks that I did not that long ago.
Let's talk about stealing a plane.
Is that something you can do?
I think I could figure it out.
Yep,
So
but I
let's-
would crash.
Well, you need.
I don't know how to fly a plane.
I think you can figure it out. I think I could
Really?
take off and fly.
You've played video games.
I don't think
and
I
you're
could
feeling
land
pretty
it.
Good?
Right. Well, here's the deal.
Anybody who's ever flown a plane right now is like, dude, you're gonna die.
Here's the deal.
All right,
All
tell
right.
us.
This is we talk about killing people.
All right,
This is one of those scenarios.
all right,
Don't do this at home.
all right,
All right. So you need a key for the plane,
all right.
which generally is not going to be at the airport. I'm talking about like a Cessna.
All right.
You might be able to hijack one, find the plane. You're going to have to prime it, let it warm up, start it, check your oil pressure. All right, and then you've got the instrument panel.
Okay.
You got six
Oh, so you did
well,
a
you've
little
got
research here.
You've got the airspeed indicator.
Okay, that sounds important.
The artificial horizon,
All right.
which I think you guys, airspeed indicator, I think those are both speak for themselves.
I think that's one of the things that most modern planes you lose, like in an EMP, is you don't have that altimeter anymore, and that's
Right.
something that comes into play.
Kind of want it. If it's foggy or nighttime, you kind of want that. Your heading indicator, right?
We could just throw a compass on the dash.
Perfect. All right, and then you got the controls. All right, so you got you got the throttle,
All right, I know about that.
fuel mixture. You're gonna have full fuel if you're taking off from like sea level.
All right.
Basically, you want it for the takeoff, and then you want to dial it down a bit. All right. Carburetor heat. It flaps. You want to get that down before you go anywhere.
This just sounds like we're
Fuel
getting
tank
pretty
selector.
complicated.
Steering wheel, rudder pedals, and control trim. I think this is pretty basic.
No,
I
where's
think if you
the
could drive a
button
stick
for the
shift,
machine gun?
I
Is
think
there
if you could drive
the
a stick
button for the
shift, you're
machine
good.
gun? All
I
right.
think you could get this down.
All right.
So,
So we're gonna go steal some like F-14
but you gotta have
Tomcats
some
after
place
this,
where you
right?
can plan on landing.
Ah.
Yeah, that's what you want is
Top Gun.
Tomcat.
If Tom Cruise could do it,
Right. Well, he's got that Scientologist magic powers.
gotcha.
I don't, you know.
Now I will say, and I feel like I've touched on this, but my sister is a pilot.
Mhm.
Well, no, my sister has a pilot's license,
Right.
whatever that
Right.
entails.
She's not. She doesn't get paid to
So-
fly planes.
She is like, oh, you know, we could go flying together. I'm like, great, let's do it. We go up and we go flying, and she's really nervous and whatever, and whatever. She goes, well, I really wanted you to come with me because you're good at handling problems, and I thought if something went wrong and I couldn't fly the plane,
Right.
you could
You
just
could
handle
climb out on the wing and get the oil out.
That's it.
Bring it back to the other
To
engine.
the other motor. And she's like, well, I thought you could fly it if there was a problem. So that makes me think, well, maybe you're right.
Yeah.
Maybe anybody could
I
fly
think
a
anybody
plane.
could do this.
All right.
You know?
I think it's worth a shot.
I recommend that somebody out there listening to this podcast that's got a bit of a streak, craziness streak, maybe wants to go to jail, should steal a Cessna.
Yeah, that's what you're
Then
recommending.
report back to us from
How it
prison
plays out?
if
I
you
think
survive.
it's already happened. Didn't we see a guy on the news who stole some plane and then crashed it in the Colorado Rockies or something?
Yeah, I think that happened recently.
All right. That's just a thing. All right, but let's move past planes.
Okay.
Because I think that was a horrible idea. That was just a no-go.
I know that in Dawn of the Dead, they stole a helicopter, and he was
That sounds
fueling it
even
up.
worse.
He was fueling it up, and the zombie was coming up behind him, and he couldn't hear it because the blades were going.
Yep.
But then the zombie stepped up on the boxes to get over to him and chopped the top of his head off.
Came off. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Let's move on.
Thank you. Please.
Let's move on to horses.
Horses are
Now,
good.
I hate horses.
Really?
When John Wayne punched that horse out in that movie,
You were like,
I laughed
yes.
and laughed. I hate them. But if you're good at horseback riding and you have access to horses, you can cover a lot of distance, and the terrain really doesn't matter. You know? You're going to get any place you can get with a four-wheeler for sure.
Yes, I think that's accurate.
Drawback is, there's not a whole lot of drawback. You have to keep them fed, but
They have
they
to
can
keep 'em
kind of
fed.
do that themselves. You have
I'm
to make
told
sure you
that
have water,
as long as
access
they're
to water
eating,
too.
they drink a lot of water,
Mhm.
and as long as they're eating, they can handle the cold.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually the digestion process
Okay,
that keeps them warm.
all right.
So you got to keep feeding them when it's cold out. But aside of that,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I
a
think
lot
I've
of water.
maybe rode 2 horses in my entire life,
All right.
and it was all awful experiences.
I do know that they eat 2.5 times their weight in a year.
Oh, a year? That's not bad. I'd probably eat that. I'd probably do that in a week.
I have no idea. Maybe that's not accurate. I don't really know. It doesn't sound
It
accurate.
sounds made up.
But whatever. That's what I was told. All right. So moving off of horses.
All right. Well, I think the number one backcountry travel
Is a
we
mule?
still haven't
Oh.
spoke about yet. Now, anybody that goes hiking, camping, knows that even in the densest part of the forest, there's one pathway that's always open: the water.
Ah, the water.
Right.
So you're canoeing?
I think canoes, kayaks are great ideas. If you've got a small sailboat like a sunfish or something like that, that's even better. Especially if you know how to navigate it.
A
And
river
you've
boat
got-
like Davy Crockett?
Yep, the river boat with the poles.
Yeah.
Now, if you've got access to a boat and a river, you basically
I don't even know why you want to go anywhere if you got access to a boat
you
and a
just
river.
be on the boat, go to the island.
Yeah.
But I mean, you basically can stop at the islands, and that's basically a safe spot. Now, the one problem is you're an open target. Anybody on the tree line can shoot at you, and you're not going to see where it's coming from.
Ambush.
But it does provide you with a little bit of security in the sense that nobody's walking up on you, nobody's sneaking up on you. You know, well, I mean, unless you're sleeping and anchored out or something. But I mean, I think you could probably live on the boat in a river rest of your life, you know?
And there's a lot of fun songs that come with river life.
That's right. Now, I was a bosun mate in the Navy, and I don't know shit about sailing a boat, though. They didn't really teach me nothing.
No, they don't have that covered.
No. But, you know, I think that's a massively underlooked resource in the apocalypse.
There is some kind of rivers that run throughout the United States.
They're all over the place.
Turns out.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Now, all right, we're traveling.
All right. No, so we're done with vehicles.
Done with vehicles.
All right, well,
you got anything else?
We didn't have cars.
Oh, okay. All right.
Cars are a thing. Now, here's the thing. So, we have some kind of pre-MP truck or something, or full-on, like, pickup or whatever. Now, if you're planning on building a bug-out vehicle, and I know we kind of did an episode on that, and you want to kind of defer to that as the big thing, but I feel like if you have a lot of free time right now and a little extra cash, if you had 2 like AR-15s and you mounted up like double guns, you maybe threw like some Franklin binary triggers in there, and then you get a couple of those like 150 round magazines that you know they like in New Jersey or something. You could be like a little 50 cal of your own kind of thing. No, I'm assuming you don't have access to a machine gun. Maybe you do.
Maybe you do.
You know, you
Maybe
live in the right
Texas,
state.
and
You have 10
do whatever
grand.
you want.
You can do whatever the fuck you want, right? Arkansas, you know, looking in that direction, whatever. But I'm thinking there's got to be a way we could rig up some kind of homemade. And I think we might be able to work those triggers together if somebody knows a little bit about machine stuff. There may be some laws violated here, but I feel like it could be a good time.
Right. Well, this is the time to do it, right?
And they call it a tactical, and it's a big thing, like over in the Middle East and stuff. They like the little Toyotas and the shit like that, the little pickups that get around, and you just mount this bad boy. But what you want to do is you want to have plating in front of you, like a big steel plate in front of it, because that's the problem. They always shoot the guy with the...
Yeah, you just shoot him. Rambo shoots him every time.
They're like out there, oh, yeah, look at me, 50 cal, I'm mowing down people. And then they just shoot you, and you're like, fuck. And then that's it. Yep. So maybe put a little protection. Something to consider. I'm saying. But that may be the way you want to go.
Right.
Now that we've kind of touched on the different modes of travel, now how would you do it? So you're thinking... I know I'm thinking I want to travel at night.
Right.
I don't want to travel in the day.
Let's back up, though, because
I got
the machine gun mounted on the pickup truck.
Go back to that?
That's completely ridiculous.
That's fucking awesome. What do you mean?
I've had some real ideas like having a winch on your vehicle.
That's what you important. Got? That's what you're bringing to the table?
Gotta have the tires.
All right. So what we did is before choosing this episode, we posted up on the Facebook page, and we mentioned, you know, hey, we're doing an episode on, you know, traveling in the apocalypse, and we asked for some ideas. Now, one of you actually reached out and was like, hey, I'm an auto mechanic. I have great insight. I know a million things that you don't know. If you have any questions, come to me. And then somehow, when I went back to reach out, it was gone. And I don't know who it was, and I don't know how to get back to him, so I kind of dropped the ball on that one. But that said, a bunch of you did talk about the types of things you'd want with a vehicle. Like, you'd want to have something that's very common, interchangeable parts. Like, if you guys ever saw, like, the Ford Taurus has, parts that are very universal and, fit tons and tons of cars. You can go into any place and, get these replacement parts, that kind of thing. You also want something that's going to be durable and able to handle like off-road, but also not huge where, you're able to fit through kind of tighter areas, things like that. There's a lot of neat things that you can carry in your car, like you said, like a winch, and the spare tools, maybe, some common replacement parts. Do you even have a spare tire? Things like that. Do you have the lug wrench, the jack, the stuff that you're going to need? These things really make a difference. Decent windshield wipers sometimes, can be the edge that you need. But so there's a lot of different things that you could do to enhance your survivability. I would also like to see like maybe some kind of bulletproofing. And what I mean by that is if you pull off like your inside door panel, you could fill it with sand. You're adding a lot of weight and kind of crapping out on your gas mileage there. You can also put in steel plating. You have those AR-500 steel targets lying around. Put those inside the doors behind the panel. Beef up your security a little bit like that. Maybe rig up. Now, another thing, like I said, I'd kind of like to see night vision.
Yeah, well, Hummer has recently put on windshield. The windshield is completely bulletproof, and it's like basically like a TV screen in there you can get.
Oh.
And it's got night vision, so you can switch to night vision mode. It seems pretty legit, but it seems like something that would break immediately, and then you don't have a windshield. So.
Yeah, but it just sounds pretty awesome.
It sounds pretty awesome.
And you got the guy with the 50 cal.
That's right. He can just watch. Turn left, turn right. What was that movie?
You tap on either side of the roof.
What was that movie with Al Pacino? He was driving the Porsche. When he was blind. Son of a woman.
Son of a woman.
That would never work.
No, that wouldn't work. I don't know. It sounded like a good idea. All right. So traveling at night is huge. You're so much less likely to run into conflict. And this is, again, I think day one, your travel, you're probably safe. Traveling in the day. I would want to cover as much ground as I could.
Until the grocery stores start getting empty.
Right. Wow.
You're fairly safe from people acting like lunatics.
Things can turn crappy. It depends what people know. If people know, it's not coming back, and that's common knowledge, you got a problem.
Right.
But if people are kind of like, the power's out, power goes out all the time, whatever.
And generally when the power's out, you don't have the TV on. You're not getting information. Right. You don't know what happened. You just know that you don't have power. Maybe the next town does.
Right. Exactly. So that's definitely something to consider. But then after day 2 or so, you want to be traveling at night.
Right.
And one of the guys in the podcast, I don't have the name right in front of me, but basically mentioned that you want to follow like the power line trails.
Yeah.
And the railroad tracks might be a great option. You're not going to hit the same kind of mass population that you are on a regular highway or things like that. I think you avoid roadblocks, things like that. A lot better chances of success if you're following these other kind of designated trails. And train tracks kind of cross the country everywhere. You really, if you're doing any kind of serious miles, should be able to follow, train tracks. Even if you paralleled along the roads, that would be another way to go. That, if you're just off, 100 feet, but through the woods, it's going to slow you down, but it's going to make a huge difference.
That was Bill that mentioned that, and I think that's a good point.
Survivability. It's a really good point.
He was talking about the power lines and the rail lines.
Yeah. And he suggested that there's even maps of these things.
Yeah.
That you might have access to.
Yeah, I actually found an old map from 1903, and it basically had all the train rails of New York State. It was big, like 8 foot by 8 foot map. It was pretty cool. Big canvas map that rolled up. But the
you
guy
keep that in your go bag.
I guess was a conductor, and it was just something he had stashed in the back of his storage thing, and then he died. So they came in my possession. But
there's that.
Mm-hmm. There are maps. You can get maps of these things. I don't actually have any of these maps aside of that one.
Okay.
So I'm thinking
and that's a little big for you to put in your go
yeah,
bag.
it's not really. But I mean, I think there's maybe that's something I should look into. I've got road maps, atlases, and a lot of people think, why? Why would you have an atlas anymore?
I have GPS.
$25. Yeah, I got a GPS. But that's a big deal. Knowing how to use a map. A lot of people don't know how to use a map. They think they know how to use a map.
That's what it is.
Now
I do carry a New York State. Actually, it's Eastern New York State trail map.
Yeah. I've got trail maps, and I actually got the canvas one that I can fold up and put in my bag. That's not going to get damaged when it gets a little wet.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's those are definitely some nice to haves, and I do have the road atlas, but I don't know. Like you said, a lot of people don't even understand how to use them or contemplate. Definitely planning out your route before you go anywhere is going to be very logical and
right. And there might be places that you just automatically say, oh, we want to avoid this. You want to go through the main.
If you're like, oh, I got to go through Atlanta to get where I'm going, no, you want to go around.
Right.
And you're like, oh, but that'll add a day. But you want to get where you're going and still be alive.
Right. You don't want to get sodomized going through Atlanta.
Oh.
There's plenty of Carl Panzerams out there that are going to be free to do whatever they want.
This is why you're not allowed on the Facebook.
Mm-hmm. All right. We're going to move on.
All right. So time of day. Now, the next thing, what do you think about traveling in groups or stealthy and individual?
Mm-hmm.
Also, is it a group you can trust?
Right.
There's a bunch of people on the highway. They're like, hey, look, we're a big angry mob. You want to move with us?
Right, I'm angry too.
Let's
all get together. Let's all break shit all the way there.
Nobody's going to mess with the big angry mob.
Mm-hmm.
But you're also kind of sharing and whatever. And
right, and you don't know who's in that angry mob.
Right. Especially, you're the delicate flower of the bunch.
Yeah, I'm fragile.
Kevin's fragile.
I'm a sensitive person, You
got to realize there's issues that could come up. So there's safety in numbers, but then again, being stealthy and able to travel quickly and kind of discreetly.
Right.
Out, off in the woods
and
or
if
whatever.
you have a group like that, well, whatever way you're traveling, even if you're traveling in a caravan of RVs and cars, you're going to want to have a point man, somebody that's ahead doing reconnaissance. You don't want to roll up on the traffic jam and then realize you can't back out of it. You want to know ahead of time that you're going to hit something and it's best to get off the road. So communication is a big deal when it comes to that. If you're going to be traveling in a group, you're going to want to have somebody out ahead scouting things out.
And then also, so they run into trouble. Not only can you avoid the whole group getting attacked, but also the whole group can come add the element of surprise and assist you with, having an army behind you kind of thing. So definitely things you want to consider when you're traveling.
Mm-hmm.
That's about what I got.
Yeah. Traveling in vehicles, when you get into the traffic jams and shit, it's real easy to just sit until you're out of gas. And the 1,000 people that are in front of you, that might happen to any one of them.
Yes.
And then that's it. Traffic is stopped. So, if this is a week after, then probably a vehicle and major roads are not the place you want to be.
So, I think that's the gist. And also, know where you're going. I'm actually listening to an audiobook right now, or actually a podcast that tells a story called Blackout that one of our we got
Brittany.
an email from
Yeah,
Brittany
we got an
about.
email from Brittany.
And I was checking it out, and the guy's like, "Oh, my son's up in Canada. I'm gonna go get him. He's in Canada."
Mm-hmm. Well, it's northern New Hampshire. They're right over the border there.
But
it's a different country.
It's a whole country.
Yeah.
And, so maybe being aware of where your kids are and things like that. And then there's also shadiness of, turns out kids can lie to their parents.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
And really they're going over to their girlfriend's house and not to Canada?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not exactly, I didn't want to give away key plot points.
Whatevs. But all I'm saying is 17-year-olds, especially boys, they're pussy hounds.
That's a thing?
That's just how it is.
All right.
That was me at 17. That's every boy at 17. And that's, you make stupid decisions because of that. What are you going to do? It is what it is.
All right. So that's something. Just be sure what you're risking when you do travel, because there's a lot of bad out there and you really cannot trust people. Mm-hmm. You want to have the good, kind heart, but be cautious.
Right.
And remember, you're obligated to take care of your family, and leaving your family unprotected to go get one family member may not be the best choice, but you have to weigh it out. You guys have to have a plan. You need to talk to your kids if things happen. Whoever you're going to be worried about.
Yeah.
And also, the same thing. You might find yourself having to travel because you have great plans and a great safe place, and then all of a sudden bad people show up, or your place burns down, or, all your supplies get taken by a bear. And then, now I have to travel to go stay with my other friend who lives...
Right.
The farm 20 miles away or whatever.
Right.
So just realize things can happen and you need to kind of have contingency plans.
Yeah.
Now, we actually got a lot of emails this week. Another one we wanted to address was, it was actually an audio file.
From Phil.
From Phil.
Now, Brittany had mentioned this too. We're talking about back episodes.
Both Phil and Brittany, right, had a interest in previous recorded episodes.
Yeah, and I think Casey had mentioned that he'd listened to all our podcasts, but it wasn't really all of them.
And it was Sam, maybe.
Sam, right. So we're going to have to figure out something as far as either re-recording some of these, because I think some of them have questionable audio.
We did have some questionable audio in the beginning, and so we are going to try and, we've done this before, but release some more classic episodes. Some of the older ones, but also there's a lot of audio to go through and decide what's good and worthy. And also, we don't know what topics you guys are interested in. Well, I mean, I guess I can look at the download numbers and know what you're interested in.
And know which ones.
But there are a lot that we actually want to revisit. Me and Kevin know a little bit more every month. We're learning a lot from you guys. You guys share stories and tell us about different things. And, we're reading books and gaining knowledge wherever we can go. And so we're going to try and find a happy mix of releasing some older episodes as well as kind of revisiting some of the older topics so you guys don't,
Now, let us know on Facebook or whatever. We're thinking about maybe in a couple of months doing a dump and dumping maybe 5 or 10 episodes all at once. I know some people they have to pay for their data.
Is that a thing?
So if you just wake up one morning, you turn on your iPod and download all the new stuff and you get 10 new episodes, that might piss you off.
I think people have where they have Wi-Fi at home and it downloads. No.
Yeah, well, most people do.
Mine doesn't download a podcast while I'm out.
Right. Some people do. Some people don't.
All right.
So I don't want to screw anybody over. Let us know if that's going to be an issue. You can email us at preppingbadass@gmail.com. If you've got ideas for a show, or you're looking for a specific topic, maybe that we've got a show that's dropped,
Yep.
You know, we can repost that one specifically. I know. I don't think we've had any food storage and water storage episodes up for a while, have we?
Up for a while. But
Yeah,
we've definitely done them.
We've definitely done them. So we might. I mean, some of the basic stuff. Most of the basic
Nobody was
stuff.
excited about water, the key to survival.
Right.
And people were like, "Yeah, that's a boring
Yeah,
topic.
it's boring.
Boring. Water storage. Poop on a stick."
But a lot of these, you know, a lot of those episodes, I think are you know, we recorded them early because, you know, those are important prepper topics.
Huge.
So some of those, you know, we might have to look through and make sure the audio is good. We'll look into it. Let us know what you guys think. What are you guys after? So give us a shout either on Facebook or preppingbadass@gmail.com. Also, if you want to support us on Patreon, we've still got a couple of patches. There's like 3 left. So,
And if
jump
you just
on that.
signed up for Patreon, I'm already sending it out, so don't panic.
All right.
And then that actually leaves us down to 2.
Down at 2. All right.
Also, you guys, you may want to check out Tac Pack. Support our sponsors. We support you guys putting up great show ideas and topics, and by supporting these guys, you kind of help us out. And hey, you get some cool AR-15 gear,
Right.
cool knives, cool patches, sometimes cool T-shirts.
And you'll notice when you start listening to our podcast, you don't have to fast forward through the first 10 minutes of commercials.
Yes, I have experienced that when I download other podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not really talking about like a lot of the other prepper guys. A lot of them are like us where, there's a commercial here and there or whatever. But you do these like mainstream ones, that are coming out from like the TV station is paying for them to be produced or whatever. And they're just chock full of commercials. So,
Right. Every 5 minutes they got to take an ad break.
So if you want to, keep things that way, maybe think about Patreon. Maybe think about, supporting Tac Pack or, things like that. Maybe you want to go over to badasswaterfilter.com and check out the cool water filter. Maybe you're like, that's what I need in my go bag, so I can just scoop water right up out of a puddle
and drink it. Right.
That's pretty cool shit right there.
Right. We don't even need to do a water storage episode anymore.
Badasswaterfilter.com. Support us, and we'll keep the good stuff coming. So, and also, actually, Kevin was just talking to me about possibly T-shirts.
Yeah, would you guys
future?
be interested in that? Let us know if you'd be interested in getting a T-shirt.
I still am torn on coming up with a logo that's appropriate.
If any of you guys are artistic.
Well, we did have a submission one time.
Did we?
And we didn't...
Was it awful?
No, it wasn't awful. It was great. But
we
it
didn't
just
use
wasn't
it, though,
quite, our thing. And then we ended up not using it. And then now we're the bad guys. So,
Yeah. If you went to college and got a degree in art,
I don't care if you got a degree in art.
You're not making any money anyway, so you might as well help out.
That's just mean and
I know you're not
hurtful,
donating to Patreon with that.
No, but not anymore. They're probably canceling right now. They're like, jackass. What did the your lower middle class? What was the review we got? I don't know, something. We got an email about you guys are lower middle class, and wouldn't understand about taxes and government or
right
some shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. Anyway, sorry, we got off task there. But so with that, stay safe, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
The Survival and Basic Badass Podcast is a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network.
Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With FishingBooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. FishingBooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to FishingBooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.